My bad, see, I dropped 2 quarters on the ground. Hey, hey, hey,
It
hey,
look like a
man.
penny to me, man.
Hey, how can you count?
I see a penny on the ground. What you got? 48, 49. Damn, what comes after 49?
We had 50 episodes already?
Damn, already?
Yo, it's wild, but let's get this show on the road.
Yo, what's good, people? Officially 2024, the first official podcast in the new year. Got a good one for y'all. How y'all been, man? Brand new year, Vertizi. How you, bro?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing wonderful. Happy 2024 to everybody. Shout out to DJ Rose, who is not here tonight. And shout out to Kiki Gant, the dancer, for that wonderful interview she did on that New Year's Eve pod.
And another shout out to Team Seven Pirates. That's another podcast. Anything anime related, anything like that, go ahead, look them up on YouTube, Spotify. They on all that. Also, a special shout out to Cousin Kobe, man, on Instagram, Cousin Kobe.
So how your week been, man?
Man, it's been long, man. It's been a long one, bro.
Well, before we get into weekend sports, man, hey, let me tell y'all what we drinking on, man. We drinking on that Nyack, that black-owned cognac in 2024, black no more black tears pie. We ain't drinking nothing but black-owned cognac. If it ain't black-owned, it's not going in our mouths. And we also drinking that Boosie juice that we was drinking on last week. What you drinking on, C's?
Hey, if it ain't Patron, leave it alone, man.
Hey, there you go, man. So it all happened in a week. So if y'all been keeping up with the news cycle this week, earlier this week, Tyreek Hill, arguably one of the best receivers in the league right now, his house burned down. C's, any thoughts?
Man, this is just another case. This is just like Left Eye, man. You remember that back in the '90s? Man, I mean, these rich chicks be crazy too, man. You know, they want to get back. So it's like, uh, it's the timing of it. It's suspect as shit, man. You know what I mean?
So the report said the fire was started by a child, but you just hinted at something. We talked about Tyreek Hill, last week or 2 weeks ago, about all his drama he got with these other women. Hey man, do you think it's possible, C's, that his wife burned the house down, as retaliation and blamed it on the kid?
I mean, I'm not necessarily a fire inspector, but I'm just saying maybe.
Man, hey man, my main thing I want to say, man, I'm glad Tyreek and his family is safe, man. When they reported it, I was like, that's some scary news. So thank God they safe. As far as the house, man, no disrespect. Hey, that nigga got plenty of money. So hey, he can get an even bigger house.
You can get another one, nigga.
But man, speaking of Tyreek Hill, he made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And they announced, I know the Pro Bowl ain't what it used to be in terms of entertainment factor for us to watch it, but it still means something if you make the Pro Bowl. C's, it's been a crazy year in the NFL. We've had players that, was not on our radar this year have amazing seasons. We've had players that we think are all world players have a down year. What players are you surprised made it? What players are you surprised didn't make it?
Not really too many surprises on people not making it. On either end, not making it, making it. I feel like the people that were supposed to make it made it. Some highlights, man, but just like AFC quarterbacks definitely got it right. Trent Williams, I didn't even know he was still playing, man, on the Niners. This man's 36 years old, still making the Pro Bowl. So shout out to him. Besides that, man, it's a pretty good lineup on both ends.
So as far as I'm concerned, man, I saw that Amari St. Brown did not make the Pro Bowl. And I think that's a travesty because he's been one of the best receivers in the NFL, especially in fantasy. He's been consistent from start to finish. Shout out to TK because he got him on the team. He's been amazing the last 2 seasons. He made the Pro Bowl last year. So normally when you make the Pro Bowl the year before, it's easier if you make it the next year. Now, they always say if you're going to add someone, take someone out. No offense, I got to take Mike Evans out. Only because he got 40, 30 more catches than him. Because Mike Evans had 77. Amari St. Brown had like 105 or 115 last time I saw. He got 100 to 150, 200 more yards than him. And the only thing he beats him that he got beat in is touchdown. I think Mike Evans got 13 touchdowns.
Honestly, that's probably what put him in
Amari
there.
St. Brown got 9. But you got to also factor that the Detroit Lions are, I think, the number 3 seed. They had a chance to get number 2 seed, so he's been part of that powerhouse team this season. Second player, I understand why he didn't make it, but when I saw that he had 1,000 yards in a 17-game season with only playing 9 games, I'm not gonna lie, Justin Jefferson probably should have made it because he's the best receiver in the game. Like we've seen players get hurt but play half the season and still make the Pro Bowl. And the player I'm gonna take off, even though he had an amazing season, but he's a rookie. So sometimes you gotta show me twice before you can make it. Puka Nuka from the Rams. Even though he had an amazing rookie season, Justin Jefferson,
He was good,
the
though,
games
man.
he did play, Justin Jefferson was amazing. He still is the best receiver in the game. So Justin Jefferson probably should have slid in there and been given the BOD because he still had 1,000 yards and only 9 games played. That means he had more than 100 yards a game.
So that's a little bit more than half the season he played. Barely half the season.
If he would have played the other 7 games, that nigga could have been basically touching 2,000 yards, bro. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Basically.
And lastly, bro, I cannot understand how this man had 15 rushing touchdowns. No, I'm not talking about Josh Allen because the quarterbacks were stacked in the AFC. All the quarterbacks that made it deserved it. Jalen Hurts had 15 rushing touchdowns, had I think 21 passing touchdowns, had over 3,500, maybe 4,000 yards passing, but had a very good season. The Eagles had been the number 1, number 2 team all year. They did get on a losing streak the last couple of weeks. But he should make it with Matthew Stafford, man. Matthew Stafford missed 3-4 games. Matthew Stafford didn't have an amazing year. He had a decent year, but he didn't have no year that to me was just head and shoulders better than Jalen Hurts, especially when you account for the fact that Jalen Hurts had 15 rushing touchdowns, which is he broke the record. Josh Allen's probably going to break it tonight, but he basically broke the record that Cam set. He should have definitely made it. But going on some games that don't mean shit, to games that mean everything. The national championship is tomorrow. We got Michigan versus Washington. Now, before we dive into the game, I just want to say I was wrong. Bama lost to Michigan. They did not spank that ass. And Texas lost to Washington. They did not spank that ass. Do you got any thoughts on this game tomorrow?
It's good to see a little bit of a change from, the regular crew. It's not Bama. It's not SEC dominated this year, finally. But yeah, I would love to see a black quarterback win it. I'm just not a Huskies fan in no form or fashion. Michigan, I just like the program. I like what they've been doing the last couple seasons. I like Harbaugh as a coach. I got a couple friends that are Michigan fans, so I'm like, hey, y'all win it. I'm gonna give y'all credit, man. I think I think Michigan will ultimately beat them. I just feel like they got the better conference, better defense, stronger offense. I don't think Washington has the line or defense to even be able to stop them. They can throw the ball, they can run the ball. They got a decent defense, more than decent defense. I think that's going to be the national champion. I'm calling it now. Michigan will be the national champion.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this game, man. It's going to be nice to have 2 different teams in the national championship picture. Harbaugh, he's been knocking on the door for the last couple of years. This is why he went to Michigan. He went there to make them great again. They have an opportunity to basically finish what he basically started a couple years ago with Michigan and become national champions. They have a hell of a defense. They got a good young quarterback. They got a great running game. They got a good offensive line. They are the better team. But Washington, they've had an amazing season. Michael Phoenix, when I look at him, man, what he's done, he probably should have been the Heisman winner over Jaden Daniels, even though I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a better pro. When we're just looking at the seasons they had and the fact that his team is undefeated, and the game he had against Texas, his ability to throw the ball and move his legs, I'm not going to lie, man. I've watched enough college national championships to tell you one thing, C's. Sometimes the better quarterback is going to, even though the team's not better, the better quarterback will find a way to win that game. And I'm taking the upset. I'm going Washington because I think Michael Phoenix has an opportunity. When I looked at the draft stocks and I saw that he was projected to be a 3rd to 5th round pick, he got an opportunity to show out tomorrow and prove to everybody he should be in the first round with people like Bo Nix and all these other people that's at home watching this national championship game and not playing in it.
It's kind of sad to see he's that low in the draft, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. You know how they do black quarterbacks to this day. But, man, speaking of black quarterbacks, man, Bryce Young
You need to get the hell up out of there.
has had a horrible season with the Panthers. I talked to TTK earlier. It's not all his fault because that team is trash, but he's not the player that, they thought he was going to be. He could turn around, maybe, hopefully. But we're not going to talk about him. Last week when they faced, I think it was the Jags.
Yeah, it was the Jags.
The owner, David Temple
Of the Carolina
Panthers got mad at a fan who was heckling him, got his drink and poured it on a Jacksonville fan, from his little skybox. The NFL fined him. I want to say it was a couple M's they probably fined him. Yeah, I want to say it was a hefty fine. C's, man, what you think about this situation?
And I didn't think it would be that much money. I mean, but in a case you own an NFL team, you probably wipe your ass with $1 billion. But it's the fact that you were that close to the fan. If I'm owner and I have a skybox, y'all ain't gonna see me. I'm gonna be up in the stands waving at y'all like Jerry Jones behind the glass, not where I'm able to hear you talk shit about me. But I mean, it's like, hey man, you gotta do better. You own the damn team. I don't care how pissed off you get, man. It looks bad for the team. It's just like, oh, this is how you treat people in your stadium, or it is what it is, man.
Yeah, man. It's disgraceful, man. Like, as the owner, you represent the league. You cannot be doing that kind of stuff to the fans. They paid their money. The fan did not put his hands on you. He did not throw on you. Now, I don't know what the fan said, but if he didn't say nothing about your kids, your family, hey, man, whatever he said in the midst of a game while he drinking alcohol, it's fair game. Plus, you a billionaire, and this motherfucker, and not to be disrespectful, this motherfucker probably make between $30,000 and $50,000 a year. You are so above him financially that what he say to you shouldn't even bother you, man. You should just be like, okay, cool, bro. Yeah. You right. Just know I'm finna go to the Bahamas and I'm finna go and fuck like 20 motherfucking bitches that's better than any bitch you ever dreamt of. So, hey, you have a good day. Now, going from sorry teams to good teams. This has been a great NFL season. It came down to the last night for last day for some of these teams to make the playoffs and for seeding. So, I first want to address the Falcons, bro. Y'all ass.
Who beat that ass? Who beat that ass?
Y'all suck. The first thing I need to do Monday morning, fire Arthur Smith. Fire that nigga. I'm tired of looking at that mustache. I'm tired of looking at his retarded face. Fire Arthur Smith. He cannot coach. We had a player like B. John Robinson, and he underutilized him all season. B. John had over 100 yards receiving a day. Fire Arthur Smith. Second thing, either hire Eric Bieniemy and then hire Harbaugh, one of them two, and get yourself a quarterback. Whether it's Jaden Daniels in the draft in the first round, Whether it's sign Russell Wilson in the offseason and draft Michael Phoenix in the second or third round, or whether it's trade for Justin Fields. I'm not going to continue to talk about y'all because y'all already pissed me off. Secondly, man, congrats CJ Stroud. You played a hell of a you had a hell of a season. You played a hell of a game last night. You earned yourself not just a playoff spot, young man. You earned yourself the AFC South divisional title because the Jags wet the bed against the Titans. So congrats, you've had a hell of a team. And let me tell you, if I'm a Houston Texans fan, shout out to MGH. I am excited for that franchise because they have two young receivers, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. They have a defense that looking like it can be decent. They got a black head coach that looks like he knows what he's doing, and they got a quarterback, and CJ Stroud, who already looks like a top 5 quarterback in the league as a rookie. And the last game that I want to talk on, Philly, man. How y'all lose to the Eagles? And let me make this clear.
Nah, I mean,
my bad. Philly, how y'all lose to the Giants? And let me make this clear. The issue I have with y'all losing to the Giants is y'all came into this game banged up. Devontae Smith was hurt. Y'all had defensive players that was hurt. Y'all had players on the offensive line that was hurt. Jalen Hurts, they've been saying that he's been banged up all season.
Yeah.
AJ Brown been nicked up. So, if you are the team you think you are, because you said before the game Devontae wasn't going to play, what you should have did then is say, fuck. And we've seen this in the past before. So before people jump at me and say anything, we've seen this in the past before. We've seen other teams do this. Say, fuck seeding. It's more important that we have health. So you should have benched Jalen Hurts. You should have benched AJ Brown like the Chiefs did. And you should have said, fuck the number 2 seed. We'll go on the road because we think we're that good. Now, guess what? AJ Brown got injured. Jalen Hurts got injured. Now we got to see if they're going to be ready for next week. And you got to go on the road to Tampa. Was you that scared of Tampa fucking Bay that you needed this motherfucking 2 seed? Come on now. Seeds.
Man, currently going on right now, we got the Bills and the Dolphins tied up 7-7. Ultimately, I think the Dolphins are definitely going to win that game. Besides that, man, hey, you talked about one already. Saints beat that ass, of course. And then the Steelers, man. A lot of people were doubtful. Hey, what is this, the 9th season concurrently for Tomlin?
Yes.
See the contract extension. Hey, it'd be a fool. Y'all would be some fools to let him go. But it just proves, man, like, even when they suck, they're still decent. They don't suck like other teams suck. It's been bad. Been a lot of moments where it's been bad, but still made it. I don't think anything's gonna come out of it, but I'm saying that as a fan. But hey, at least they made it. Besides that, man, it was like what? Raiders, Broncos, that was an all right game. Nobody cares about the Jets and Patriots, man. And then that's Vertizi, you pretty much covered all the shit I had to say, man.
Yeah, man. The Falcons gave me tears, and the Steelers didn't give you no tears. With that being said, man, let's move to TNT.
Dynamite, boom.
So, Boosie said he had to walk out of halfway through Color Purple because it seemed like they was trying to tell a gay lesbian love story. Tears or no tears, C's?
Man, it's really no tears because if you look at the actual book, you got to remember a lot of everything's a remake. A lot of stuff is based off a book or a remake. So it's like the Color Purple's a both. It's a book, original book. It's a Broadway play. It's other theater play. Steven Spielberg had his remake or his depiction of it, and then now we have the current depiction. I'm just now finding this out this year, but apparently there was like lesbian annotations in the book as far as the relationship between Celie and I want to say, forgot the other character's name, but maybe Sissy or something.
I think her name was Shug.
Shug. Yeah, Shug. It was Shug and Celie, but there was like annotations of that. It's like, the agenda. It's an agenda, but even besides it, if you want to counterpoint and say it's not the agenda, hey, just look at the original book. Read the excerpt on it. It's like it was pointed out, so it's like really no tears.
I mean, as always, man, when you have an adaptation of a book, some people are going to lean into the book. Some people are going to lean against the book. And all that means for people listening, sometimes if the book in this situation has gay, stuff in it or whatever, they'll lean into it and then they'll push it. Sometimes people, if they do that adaptation, they'll say, we'll leave little hints, but we're not gonna lean too far into it. Now, me personally, man, I got tears because the original was good on its own. You made this a musical. You did not have to have, the scenes where basically she being a home wrecker and all this different stuff. Because I'm gonna be honest, in the original to me was more empowering for a black woman, just for the standpoint of you had Whoopi Goldberg's character who had been getting her ass beat by this nigga all movie. And finally, because she's tired of the ass whooping and she basically wants to leave because in the original, I want to say she thought she had the opportunity to sing or basically do something in show business. She wanted to be empowered. And this one, it's like you leaving your husband for a woman. Okay, cool. So basically, it took you falling in love with a woman to get tired of this nigga beating your ass. Like, okay, cool, man. Whatever, man. Like, this just throws back to the comments that people be having, like some people be feeling like that shit is deviant or whatever. So, yeah, I got tears because the original was good enough. You didn't have to add this extra shit. Man, speaking of extra shit, or people doing extra shit, man, there was this video series of this man, this white man, going to his neighbor house, dropping like 20, 30, 50 pizza boxes at the door, saying, yeah, you had a big party last night. Yeah, it was loud and stuff. And you put all these empty pizza boxes in the recycling bin. They don't go in the recycling bin. That's gonna be a fine for each box. And he added up and told him the fine. He said, hey, I'll come back later on and you can give me the money there. I take cash, check, and this and that. And walked off. I'm gonna start off. Man, I got tears because some of y'all neighbors be doing the fucking most. Bruh, what really happened, my homie, you mad you didn't get invited to the party. You mad that he had an end of the year New Year's party. He didn't invite your ass because you probably the neighborhood snitch. You probably a bitch ass nigga. You probably the nigga that's always on everybody's ass. You probably was chilling. You probably looked up, text your wife, where you at, honey? Oh, I'm next door. Then next thing you realize everybody in the neighborhood went to this party and your ass at home with the kids. And that's probably why you was in your fucking feelings, bruh. Because let me tell you, I saw the amount of pizza boxes that he threw in that door. Oh, bro, that nigga must have had one of them little, you ever seen that movie, Project X?
Yeah.
He must have had one of them motherfucking parties. Like, I'm mad I ain't get an invite, and I don't know the nigga, so I know you mad, bro. So fuck you, dog.
Man, it's no tears, man. Hey, when you live in a community or a complex or subdivision that has HOAs, you know there's rules. You know they don't play about that shit. The reason why I'm saying no tears is because it's the guy's actual fucking job to do that. So you can't blame him for taking the shit out the fucking recycle bin. As a person who actively recycles, you're not supposed to put shit that had food in a fucking recycle bin. You put it in a trash can. So it's like I probably wouldn't have gone as far as stacking the shit up on his fucking door. I probably would put the shit in the trash and been, hey, bro, here's a fine, here's a warning. I'm not gonna fine you this time. Next time, I'm coming for your ass. You're gonna have to pay a fine. But I guess, hey, the man's doing his job. You don't like it? Move the fuck out the neighborhood. Don't. That's why y'all need to pay attention to where the fuck y'all live. If they got HOAs, you know they don't fucking play, and they can take your house if you don't pay that fucking fine. So it's no tears. If you lose your house, no tears. If you gotta pay the fine, no fucking tears. Know the rules, know the optics, do the fuck what you're supposed to do. And hey, you ain't have to come on that hard, bro. You could have just told the man, had a conversation, but hey, the shit was recorded. The motherfucker that his house was, he put it on the internet. So hey, it goes to civil court. You're probably gonna lose. So it is what it is. Fuck it.
Man, talking about going hard in the paint, bro. Savannah James, the wife of LeBron James, who many people consider the GOAT. You can say Savannah James probably the GOAT of wives. Because recently people have posted videos and notated she never takes pictures with male fans. Like she see male fans, she don't hug them. She might shake their hand, just say hi to them. They'll ask take a picture. She'll keep on walking, and she'll take pictures with a lot of female fans that want to take pictures with her. man, I got tears, but they're tears of joy and pride, man. Like a lot of women be wanting a high value man that term that they throw around, but they don't understand that you have to carry yourself like a high value woman. One, you have to do the grunt work. You have to do the stuff that a lot of women don't want to do. So that means, for example, if your man pays all the bills, that means you cooking, that means you cleaning, that means you taking care of the kids. Like real quick, LeBron's been in NBA, since they've been together. So for 20 years, that's been his life since he's been with that woman. And they had kids. They had their first kid, I want to say, before he got in the NBA, or right when he got in the NBA. So that means she's been basically taking care of the kids when he's been on the road. She's been doing all that by herself. When they be coming to, Augusta to do the Peach Jam, and LeBron James just recently been able to come to some of these events. But beforehand, like when, Bronny was doing that stuff, or Bronny was doing high school games or middle school games, guess what? Sees? She was going to all the games. She was supporting him. She was doing all that stuff. And then still making sure that when LeBron did come home, guess what? Everything was straight. And guess what? The whole time, not embarrassing this man. Not posting dumbass tweets. Not making dumbass interviews. Not saying dumbass shit about him. Not posting their personal life. Like how Jeezy was saying that his ex-wife basically was, telling too much of their personal business. And understanding it's not about, if I am sleeping with these men or not. It's about the perception. Like, I'm not gonna entertain a nigga. I'm not gonna message a nigga back in a DM. I'm not texting a nigga. I'm not even gonna be seen taking a picture with a male fan. Why? So TMZ can post me in a picture with a nigga I don't know because he's a fan of my husband and he wanted a picture and he put his arm around me and gave me a little church hug or whatever. And now people trying to say I'm stepping on my husband. Why even embarrass my husband like that? But a lot of you black women can take a note from her. This woman is a professor. Classes in session. Start taking notes.
I just want to reiterate, we are not calling her that. She is a woman. She is someone's wife, a very classy wife at that. It's really no tears, man. She doing what she's supposed to do. She knows that the perception is like, hey, I take a picture with this man, people are going to take it. Oh, he's a fan of LeBron. They're going to take it and be like, oh, Savannah James seen with this man. Is there trouble in LeBron's paradise? Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, she's doing what she's supposed to do, man. Lessons learned. This is how you're supposed to move as an NBA or a sports wife. Supposed to be out the camera, behind the scenes, taking care of business at home. Keep that up. We appreciate you. Black love, good relationship with the media and all that stuff. So keep doing what you're doing. One of the best players, just a great NBA family overall. But yeah, no tears, man.
So in this next one, we've been saying basically since last year, Free Thug. Chartavius Stevens, aka Tick Slug, from YSL, the CEO, one of the CEOs of YSL. He took the stand this week. Now there was rumors that he took a plea deal and he was a snitch. Bro, this man was on trial. This man made it seem like he didn't know how to count. Made it seem like he couldn't name all the members. Basically, but they asked him, "Hey man, what you call him? Do you call him Young Thug?" He said, "Nah, I call him Jeffrey, or I call him my brother." Like this man right here took the stand and did everything but snitch on Thugger. Man, I got tears of happiness and joy because I'm gonna say this again. When you say you my homeboy and you say you standing 10 toes down with me, C's, you need to be, hey, y'all need to be like that nigga. That nigga said, I would take this stand, I would make myself look stupid because I'm not going to point my finger at my homeboy and give these people the ability to lock him up because of me. Because of me. If he get locked up, it ain't gonna be because I came out here yapping and said, yeah, it's a gang, it's this. Yeah, he did this. Yeah, he ordered this. Nah. Gunner. I know you seen the clips. I'm gonna say again, Gunner. Little bitch, take notes. Hey, Tick, Slug, whatever the fuck his name is, he's a professor. Class was in session. Take notes.
Yeah, man, no tears, but yeah, tears of joy, man. You know, that's how you're not supposed to snitch, man. Like, he basically went in jail, in prison, played the system. What they say, make money and act stupid. So that's what you're supposed to do. Like, literally, like, we know this man's not retarded. We know I don't know if he graduated high school or not, but that's how you're supposed to act in court. I don't know. Either you plead the fifth or you say, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do it. I don't know. I don't understand. You can't count. So what year? How old were you? Oh, I was probably 5 in 1996. Nigga, you was born in 1990. You know, something like that. So just stupid questions, but yeah. Hey, Gunna, you getting them QPCs, man, with extra cheese. Extra cheese. You know, smelling, don't rats like cheese?
Hey, see, it's on YSL again.
No. It stands for, at one point, I used to think it was Young Stoner Life, but it's not.
Hey, man. So talking about people who be trying to gangbang. If this woman went on a pod and she said she loves to be gangbang. She loves to have all her holes filled and she loves to have multiple men inside of her fucking her. And she said, because I'm a fucking goddess and I deserve hands all over me. Hey, man, just tears, man. Just because, man, this hoe is life now, man. Hoe is life now. Like, we in a point of society where it's okay to be a hoe, promote hoe activity. Hoes going on podcasts telling their hotels, and other hoes are hearing this shit and saying, yes, girl, you go. And it's to the point now, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. It's hard to tell if some of you women are hoes or not too, because some of you women, that's supposed to be respectable, y'all out here co-signing the wholeness. Because the bitch on the pod, she kind of looked at the bitch like she was crazy when she said it, but then she kind of just verbally acknowledged it. Nah, bruh. If your silence is compliance. So if you're a woman and you basically just let other women say the shit and you're not coming out like some of these women do and say, hey, I don't know what the fuck she talking about, but that's just some whole shit. If you one of them women and you consider yourself a real woman and you not calling these hoes out, then guess what? You in that same boat with them as far as concerned. Because y'all basically okaying the bullshit. See.
Man, no tears. It's like, hey, if you like what you like, do what you do. It's just now they giving a platform. Say whatever you say. So she probably got an OnlyFans. That's probably why she said it. I mean, what is there really to say about it? It's like there's some people that like to do that type of thing. They into that. It's like, why do it for free when you can get paid for it? Just go get paid for it.
She didn't say she was getting paid, bro.
I'm saying she should.
Okay.
Why not? Just get paid for it. Put it on the internet. But I mean, yeah, it's getting crazy now to the point to where like everybody's wants to be an open book and just tell all these it's just okay. Okay, that's what you do. But yeah, no tears, man. I ain't shedding no tears for no hoe, man.
What's wrong with these hoes, C's?
We should have said that on the last one, but that was at Dynamite though. We ain't gonna talk. We gonna leave the Dynamite alone. That shit already blew, man.
Man, so this man caught his wife cheating. Took a picture of her with a dick in her mouth. Made t-shirts and wore the t-shirt at her job. See, let me step in real quick. First of all, how the fuck did you get a picture of your wife sucking on a man's dick? Like, I read the comments, nobody said nothing about that. Like, bruh, did they pose for you? And bro, you must be Adam 22 then.
Nah, it was an up close photo, so it was probably the nigga who was getting it, took the picture, the shit slipped up, and then somehow it got on his wife's phone.
But hey, see, no one said how the picture came about, so I hope that's how it came about. I hope it was some shit like she had the picture on her phone, some shit like that, and he saw the pic and he decided to basically expose it, or the nigga sent the husband the pic. But secondly, nigga, there ain't no shit to put on your t-shirt and wear proudly. Like, when did niggas proudly just say, yeah, my bitch cheated on me, man, she a hoe? Like, bruh, nah, nigga, bruh, like, y'all both hoes. Your wife is a hoe, but she probably was a hoe when you married her. So you can't even be mad. And this goes back to just what I said previously about Savannah James and this bitch who be gangbang. A lot of you simp ass niggas, let me say this again. A lot of you simp ass niggas, one last time, a lot of you simp ass niggas be trying to marry these hoes.
Who does that?
Y'all, they be trying to marry
But who
these
does
hoes, these simp ass niggas. They try to cuff these hoes. They try to turn these hoes into a housewife. You learned that in grade school. You can't turn no hoe into no housewife. And y'all niggas literally take the hoe and y'all say, you know what? Let me go ahead and add the U and the S to hoe, and that's house. And then just add wife. You can't do that shit, nigga. It's a reason why there's no U and the S. She's a hoe. So as far as I'm concerned, like when these hoes cheat on y'all, you getting what you deserve because you decide to fuck with a hoe. And as far as you go, nigga, like, bro, hey man, that's just some sucker shit, man. Like you out here wearing that t-shirt, that's just some sucker shit, man. So, man, you probably a hoe of the week, bro. And we just started 2024.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that she would actually go to that extent to really make the shirt. I would have just posted it somewhere, like put it on Facebook or some shit like that. You actually went up to her job, embarrassed her. You honestly embarrassing yourself too, though. It's a good get back.
See, he didn't embarrass that hoe.
He embarrassed himself.
Because let me tell you one thing about a hoe. Half of the hoes at her job know that she be sucking under the man's dick. Like, that's why it's so crazy. Half of the people at the job, that might have been her coworker that she was sucking.
What if it was her work husband?
That probably was her. That probably was a nigga from the job dick she was sucking. And everybody at the job already know she was sucking that nigga dick. So all you did was confirm what everybody already knew. Continue, C's.
Yeah, it's to go to the extent you embarrassing yourself. Just man, be What happened to professionalism? You should have just got the divorce papers, had them sent, went about your business. But nah, you had to go up to her job, embarrass yourself, and put the shit on display. Yeah, she had her mouth open. Yeah, nigga, you probably did marry a hoe though. So I mean, hey, bro, what's wrong with these hoes? What's wrong with these simp ass nigga hoes, man?
Hey man, speaking of even more hoes, we got a list of hoes for y'all today. Well, let me rephrase that, C's. They not hoes to me and C's. At least I don't know if C's feel like they hoes. But they are hoes to a lot of y'all go. Mr. Motherfucking Katt Williams. So Katt Williams was on the Shay Shay Club. Shannon Sharp podcast for those who don't know about the Shay Shay Club. And he called out a lot of people in the industry. First, he called out Steve Harvey. He said Steve Harvey was hating on Bernie Mac, that Steve Harvey been wearing a man piece since the 90s, that Steve Harvey stole jokes and his whole show from Mark Curry. Bruh, C's. What you think about that hate on Steve Harvey?
Man, Steve Harvey, it's been rumored that he did steal a lot of jokes. We already knew the fact that Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey had beef years ago. It's been revealed for years. So it's new information, but it's really not that new. Some people probably just not hearing about it. Mark Curry, very highly underrated comedian from the 90s. Actually played in the NBA. A lot of people don't know that. Decent basketball player, but everybody remembers that show, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. He had the song too. The song went with
Yeah,
it.
it was a good show.
I mean, it's a pretty good show. He done stand up for years. We haven't really seen him do a lot in the last. I can't even remember the last time I seen Mark Curry, man. But yeah, he's in the circles. Like a lot of people know about him, so it's like for him to give that credit to Mark Curry. Mark Curry is really an underrated comedian. But Steve Harvey, man, we don't know whose story's true, who's not. And it's like, man, that fro was too fresh all the time for that shit to be real. So it's like, man, we knew that shit. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Katt was telling the truth, bro. Like, DL and other people said that Steve was hating on Bernie, and let's just keep it real, man. The Kings of Comedy was an amazing, tour and an amazing special. But Bernie was hands down the funniest nigga on the tour. And to me, Steve Harvey was the least funniest nigga. And I'm not going to disrespect Steve Harvey and say he's not funny. I'm going to say this right here. He's not stand-up funny to me. He's not movie funny to me. he's kind of TV funny for me in
Sit the,
terms of
the,
TV, in
the,
terms of sitcoms. But where he really shines to me is when he's hosting something. But like when he's hosting something like Family Feud, like he has an ability to be funny doing that, and he's funny when he's doing radio and stuff. But in terms of like just the normal ways you would consider funny, yeah, Steve's not funny to me, man. You know. But speaking of another radio nigga, man, Ricky Smiley, man, this nigga Katt came in and said Ricky Smiley basically changed that man's manhood. Said, hey, you never had that role of Money Mike and Friday After Next. You only wanted that role because there was a rape scene. Now, Ice Cube did come out and dispute that whole claim. And then he also said, the next movie I had, I made put in my contract that he got to wear a dress. Now, I'm going to keep it real, man. Ricky Smiley, I ain't never really found that nigga funny. I don't really listen to his radio show like that. I know the little Dale shit that he did, and I knew the little shit he did in the dress. I never really watched them bits like that. It was never hilarious to me. And yeah, man, I believe Katt on this too, man. Like, bro, I can't even see Ricky Smiley as Money Mike. Like, yes, nigga, you that crackhead Santa Claus, and yeah, nigga, I'm pretty sure that there might have been a rape scene because Ice Cube came out and said, "Oh, I ain't never depicted a rape scene in my movies. Like, you know, it was kind of alluded there was a rape scene in Players Club, but we didn't depict it. But Ice Cube, you still ain't say that there was no rape scene originally in the movie. You just said y'all wasn't going to show it. Because Katt never said, was you going to show the rape or not? He said there was a rape scene in the movie. And Ricky, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro, you look like you be swinging for the other team, bro. But hey, that's just me.
I mean, on the stance of like Ricky playing that role, he probably tried out for the role. We obviously he didn't get it. We know who the person who was supposed to do it. As far as Ice Cube's comments, I stand with Ice Cube on that stance. I don't think he would have actually had that in his movies because none of the movies he's been in, that's happened. It's always been alluded to. He was like, he even came out and said he doesn't like that type of shit in movies anyway. So it's like, I believe him on that. And then he also added a comment that Katt Williams said he wrote his own lines. Basically, the way Ice Cube said it was, hey, we wrote certain lines, but you also let the people ad lib. And you see that with Chris Tucker when he was on the first Friday. John Witherspoon did his own lines. You can tell like that shit was on the spot. So as far as like saying the shit on the spot, yes, I think Katt came up with his own lines. As far as like actually writing the shit down on paper, I'm kind of iffy on that one. But I mean, he told the truth. Ricky Smiley, man, he's funny in certain sets. Like the little Daryl stuff was funny, and then the old church lady stand up. I mean, it had in its time, like the early 2000s, it was funny. And I mean, obviously he's on radio for this long. So I mean, he has a following. I mean, he's funny to some people. To me, he's not funny all the time, but he's funny sometimes.
Well, that's the reason why when I'm gonna say if these things are funny or not, like, I'm just gonna tell you from me. Because somebody think they funny.
Yeah, he's funny to me sometimes though. So
but talking about another nigga from the Friday movies, man, he came at Chris Tucker. You know, and said Chris Tucker had, you know, shit going on with Illuminati and gay-ish and all this other stuff, and basically said that, you know, Chris Tucker left the movies. We all know he left the movies because he didn't want to, you know, be the face of smoking weed and all this different stuff, and that Chris Tucker was handpicked. Yeah, man, you know, with Katt, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that would kind of hurt me because I love Chris Tucker. I love his movies, and I've seen some of his stand-ups. I like the little special he did a couple years ago. I will say this, man, shit, nigga, hey, Chris Tucker presents himself as the man of God, so I hope that nigga ain't fucking with none of that shit that's going on in Hollywood.
So I mean, it's like, yeah, he was on the list. It was a lot of people on that list, man. There was a lot of people on Epstein's list. So it's like, hey, it's probably a lot of names on that list that they haven't released yet. So some of your favorites that you hold up in high esteem might be in that same circle. So I mean, but on Chris Tucker's end, man, he ain't gonna respond. I already know he's not gonna respond to this shit. It's a reason why he wasn't in Fridays though, because it's like you saw his range, Fifth Element. What was it? The movie with
the Rush Hour movies.
Before that,
Money Talks.
Money Talks with was it Lawrence Tate?
Shane.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen, and then there was the one with Lawrence Tate. Remember?
Oh, Dead President.
Dead Presidents. So he has range, and it's like once you get that Rush, that's another one, and then so you get that Rush Hour movie. It was like at that time they didn't think Rush Hour would work. It exceeded expectations, and it's like if you want him to go from where he can be himself or be like kind of a cool character in Rush Hour to go back doing Friday, of course you're not paying me enough. I just made 20 mil off a movie that I was a star of, not a secondary character, not a clown, not smoking this. This is 10, 15 years later, maybe 7, 8 years later. It's like even before they came up with the script, it's like I got kids now. I don't want to be smoky anymore. I don't have to do that. And then it's like a lot of shit happened. But I mean, like from the stance of that, it might be true, it might not be true because people say shit all the time. So I mean, that one, Chris Tucker's funny to me.
So you talking about stuff that could be true and not true. Do you think Cedric the Entertainer stole Katt Williams' joke? Because Katt said the little spaceship joke. Do you know the joke I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The spaceship joke that Cedric used to close out the Kings of Comedy tour as his main joke was a joke that Katt actually used on Comic View, but instead of space shuttle, he used, I think, was it a Cadillac or something like that, and he basically just changed it and said, "Hey, nah, it's a spaceship." What do you think, Steve?
I mean, as far as stealing jokes, it's nothing new. And then it's like somebody can tell a joke one way and then tell it another. So it's like it might look like he stole it, maybe he did, but I mean, it's a lot of ways to say the same thing. A lot of these comics do the same thing, especially when you're in the same circles. You go on a tour, whatever. But I mean, to me, Cedric's actually funny. To me, he's actually funny. He's had a couple stand-ups. They're not like ha dying laughing funny, but I mean, his sitcoms, some of his movie roles, and one or two of his stand-ups are actually funny to me. So I mean, I feel like he is one of the.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that, man. Cedric to me is funny, man. I like his show. I liked a lot of his movies he did. Cedric is just a funny guy, unlike Steve Harvey. For me personally, the stand-up specials he's done, I like Cedric for the most part. As far as joke stealing, Whoopi Goldberg said back in the day when she did a stand-up special, that she told Richard Pryor, "Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I used some of your material." And Richard told her, the late great Richard Pryor said, "Hey, that's comedy. Shit is supposed to be reused. You put your own spin in it or whatever." So I think that's cool, long as it's like not stepping on my toes. In this situation, if Cedric did steal Katt's joke, then that's a problem because y'all out at the same time. Y'all both telling the joke at the same time. Katt's trying to come up in the game. Now, if you want to go to Katt and pay him for the rights to use the joke, I don't think Katt would have had a problem with that. I think that's what Katt was really saying about that. The same thing, I'm bringing Mark Curry. The same thing with Mark Curry. Like if Steve basically would have paid Mark Curry to use some of his jokes and to basically use the framework for his show, I think Mark Curry been cool with that, bro. Because I'm not making money off of this shit because I'm not a big name. But if you can make money off of it, cool. We see that in music. We see artists who write songs, and like your homeboy from the black dude from the little Victoria show.
Oh, Leon Thomas.
Yeah, Leon Thomas. Like, no offense to him, he got an amazing voice, but he's not a big enough star where he can make a song and it's gonna be a hit. But what he can do is write a song for someone like Rihanna, like Coco Jones,
SZA.
like SZA, and guess what? He can give it to them, and he can get paid as of money off of it. So I think it would have been cool, if that. I will say this: I was kind of surprised when he brought an earthquake name those C's, and basically when he said earthquake is funny, he complimented earthquake. That was one of the few people he actually complimented until he said, "Man, that nigga's illiterate."
So I mean, I was kind of wondering where that came from with the slide because it was like
he said that's why that nigga couldn't have a TV show because he said on the TV show earthquake couldn't read the cue cards.
It's like damn, because it's like earthquake recently had some static with a lot of comics of that that BET Comic View era, Def Comedy Jam era. So I mean, like there was like circles with like Pierre and people comics like that having static between Corey Holcomb and. Him and Corey Holcomb were beefing for a minute, so it's like that. Earthquake, man, he's funny to me, bro. He got a couple stand-ups that's funny to me. So, I mean, like, whether it's true or not, he can read. I don't know, but, I mean, he's funny to me, man.
Yeah, I think Earthquake probably is illiterate, man. But I don't care enough to talk about that nigga. Because he is funny, man, but, hey, man, like, you ain't saying nothing to disrespect that nigga. Earthquake probably would tell you himself. Yeah, nigga, I'm illiterate, but I'm rich though, bitch. So hey, fuck you.
That actually sounds like some shit he would say though.
But hey, I'm gonna tell you, motherfucker, that I know is not illiterate, and he is rich as a bitch. That nigga Kevin Hart. Like this nigga Katt has been coming at Kevin Hart the last 5-7 years. And he made sure to let everybody know Kevin Hart is an industry plant. Ain't nobody can tell you before Kevin Hart became big, a show they went to at Kevin Hart that was sold out. This motherfucker came into Hollywood with a TV show, had a movie and everything. He didn't go through the grind the way he be trying to tell y'all he went through the grind and stuff like that. Like, hey, I just want to say this. Kevin Hart is one of those comedians, unfortunately, I don't find him funny in terms of stand-ups. But in terms of movies, I think he's hilarious.
The 40-year-old virgin scene, bro.
Yeah,
that shit.
I think his delivery, I think his timing, I think the way he reacts, his facial, I think it's amazing. His stand-up is trash. But as far as what Katt said, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Kevin came out of nowhere. Like some of these comedians that normally when these comedians do pop, you hear about them, you heard something about them.
He did host Comic View though.
I'm just saying, like, one day Kevin just popped out of nowhere, and this nigga is like a movie star. Like the first time I remember Kevin Hart, and I know some people would say like Paper Soldiers or whatever, but the first time I remember Kevin Hart is Soul Plane.
Okay, yeah.
That's that, and bro, Soul Plane was kind of I ain't gonna say it was a blockbuster movie, but that was kind of like a movie that was kind of had a big
on the streets. It was a blockbuster movie.
Yeah, like
that's it.
Like put it like this. For you to be a no-name nigga and get that kind of movie, that's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
And then after that, he had the specials and he blew the fuck up. Now, is he an industry plant? Maybe, man. He talked about how Kevin Hart said he was never going to wear a dress, and then Kevin Hart put on a dress, and, he said that about a lot of the niggas. And, hey, bro, that money come talking, bro. Some of these niggas in Hollywood, they give him the ass. See?
Yeah, man. To me, Kevin... I pretty much agree with what you said. Kevin Hart's not funny stand-up wise. He's had his moments and his awkwardness on stage is like he's always nervous. His brand of comedy I don't really find too funny on stand-up wise, but movies like that scene from the 40-year-old virgin, one of my favorite scenes from the whole damn movie. It's just
Classic.
hilarious. Just hilarious, man. He's had his moments. He's in the stratosphere now. Like he's out the world now. He's like Hollywood. Big things, putting people on. So I mean, from a standpoint of like business wise and making your brand, you can't knock it. I mean, he has his own podcast. He's got his own specials on TV. He's doing blockbuster movies for years now. So I mean, it might be true, man. Who knows? Once you get in Hollywood, you got to do something strange for a little piece of change, man.
And talking about doing strange things, man. So he brought up Martin Lawrence, and he said that how Martin had to go away because, Martin, had a lot of shit going on in the mid-2000s with drugs and shit. Nigga was walking around LA in his underwear. People thought he was smoking crack. I don't know if you remember that, C's. But he had to go away for a little bit, to repair some shit. And he told Katt, man, when I come back, I want you to be in my first movie. So when he came back, he sat down. Katt said he sat down with him, with the executives, and they wanted him to do Big Mama House 3. And they wanted him to wear a dress. And he said, oh, y'all don't want me, I want Brandon T. Jackson. And Katt said he reiterated that 3 times. Brandon T. Jackson ended up doing the movie. He ended up going on different podcasts, the last couple of years saying how that shit basically made him feel like a bitch. And he felt like that shit, he said some weird shit like, that shit took my energy and drained me. But then Tyler Perry and Martin wear the dress and they get energy. So I don't know the rules to the shit. I don't know the nigga wearing dresses rules. Nigga, the rule for a nigga is not to wear a dress. That's the rule, nigga. Hey, man, Katt hit this 100. There is an agenda in Hollywood to emasculate black men by having them do gay shit, by having them wear dresses. And let me just make this clear. I don't want gay black men to hear that and think, oh, so I'm emasculated because I'm gay. No. Taking straight black men, when we have gay black actors like Billy Porter or whatever from that one TV show or whatever, Greenwood or whatever, Greenleaf. When we have black gay actors out there taking straight black actors and making them do this gay shit, yes, you trying to emasculate them, bruh. it's back to like slavery when it was butt breaking. And then you put him in dresses and shit like that. Hey man, like, yeah, Katt hit that 100, man. And let me tell you, Brandon T. Jackson was actually on the rise before Big Mama House 3. He was in Tropic Thunder. He was in a lot of the TV Bow Wow. He had a bright future. He did that movie. When the trailer came out of that movie, people thought, because the Big Mama House 1 and 2 was some of the biggest movies we had in the 2000s. So when 3 came out, nobody thought that movie was going to be bad. And Brandon T. Jackson already had good movies, but then he did that movie, and guess what? Brandon T. Jackson disappeared. And the next time I see this nigga, he look like a nigga that ain't two Brandon T. Jacksons.
I mean, from the sense of like Martin, man, he's top 10. He's one of my favorite comics from the Martin Show to his stand-ups. You can't say in any form of fashion he's not funny. He's hilarious. He did have that spat where he was gone for a couple of years. Shit, a lot of people say conspiracy theorists actually say they did something to that man. They literally sat there and say something happened to him where he just was not right in the head after, he got sick or whatever. He got bigger. He literally got sick. I mean, he wasn't looking like himself for years. It was a long time he didn't look like himself. So I'm like, to do that, he did Shanae, one of his biggest characters. So I mean, like, yes, there's an agenda with black men in dresses. Not everybody has to do it, but at the same time, it's like for the ones that have do it, it shouldn't be what all they're known for. For everything Martin Lawrence does, all his other shit, that can't be the highlight because he has so much more. From Def Comedy Jam, hosting, First Amendment, to having his own comedy special on Stars, First Amendment, that shit was put a lot of comics on that I personally love to this day. So I mean, you can speculate however the fuck you want, but I mean, sidebar, he did have a comment as far as saying if you're a black man, you marry a light-skinned woman who has a big face, and I was like, damn, you called out a couple. Some of y'all goats. Personally, one of your favorite goats. One of your goats, Vert. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But even besides that point, hey, Nicole Murphy, if you hear this, hey.
Hey, nigga, you don't got enough money for her, bro, unfortunately. Man, talking about motherfuckers being emasculated, man, he also said that's why Gary Owens, what white comedian, he said, what white comedian do you know that basically is funny but hasn't crossed over yet? And Gary Owens has been doing this for a long time. In the black community, we think he's hilarious. Most black people think he's hilarious. But then when you think about it, Gary Owens, why don't you have your own TV show? Why don't you have more movies where you're the leading man? Like, it's not like you're not funny, because I think most people, black people, tell you Gary Owens is hilarious. And then, Gary Owens told a story about how Harvey Weinstein, like not Harvey Weinstein, but it was an executive that came at him and basically wanted him to suck some dick. And then Katt told a story about how Harvey Weinstein said in a room full of people that, hey, can I suck your dick or some shit like that? Like, I do feel like, back to being emasculated, if you in Hollywood and you want to break through that glass ceiling, now there is niggas, and I don't know these niggas personally, but I think niggas like, Bernie and niggas like, Denzel are able to break through that glass ceiling without having to basically sell their souls. But I feel like it's hard, especially if you black. I think it's hard if you don't sell your soul and do some of this gay shit. Because, hey, when Katt said that, I didn't even think about it, bro. But why the fuck is Gary Owens not bigger?
That's a nuanced conversation, man, because it's like he got popular with black people first. That was his core audience.
And that's hard for white comedians. Like, I want people who hear this to understand. Most black comedians are popular with black people that have to cross over to white people. Most white comedians are hilarious white people, and they have to cross over
to the black
people.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of nuanced. Like, yeah, Gary, he's not funny all the time. I'm not gonna say he's hilarious, but he's funny. He's been on multiple stand-up shows, Comic View, Def Comedy Jam, First Amendment. He's been in TV shows doing his thing, man. He's funny to me, but it's an odd question. Why hasn't he been able to get bigger? Why hasn't he had that crossover appeal? So it's like, somebody surprised he didn't say something about was Bill Bellamy. Bill Bellamy seemed like a stand-up dude, though.
Yeah, man. I mean, most people in Hollywood say Bill Bellamy stand-up, man. But talking about people that's not stand-up, man, You mentioned Wanda Smith.
The person we just mentioned, though, Harvey Weinstein. I'm iffy on that one. Just knowing from hearing the stories of Harvey Weinstein, he don't seem like he would approach somebody asking to suck somebody's dick. He's getting his dick sucked. He's doing the fucking. He's the executive. He's the one with the production company. So on that one, I'm like, you probably got the story mixed up. And he said, "Hey, I want you to do something for me."
So someone that sucked dick. Wanda Smith had Katt Williams, on her radio show, and Katt humiliated her, and Katt explained why he did that on Shay Shay Club. C's, man. What you have to say about that?
That clip is just hilarious. He demolished her, man. Like, she came at him a funny type of way. It's just like shit. She deserved what she got, man. I don't even listen to a radio show, never heard it, but from that scene, man, hey, sometimes you just got to keep your mouth closed and just roll with the shit.
So, hey, I know y'all listening and y'all thinking, damn, Katt said a lot about these comedians. Well, nah, he mentioned some rappers too. And the first rappers that he mentioned was Kanye West, Ludacris, and Nick Cannon. So with Kanye, he basically said, why is it that we know this nigga got mental health problems and we still basically point and laugh at him? Because if this was a kid that had special needs and they was doing stuff that was kind of weird or whatever, we wouldn't be laughing. We'd be trying to find him help. He actually sympathized with Kanye and said that Kanye be spitting some truth every once in a while. Which I'm going to say straight up, I ain't gonna lie, man. At times, Kanye said some shit, even though, he on the deep end, that you listen to and be like, you know what? Hey, Kanye trying to tell y'all some jewels. You just got to get around the bullshit to hear the jewels. But see, I know you got a love-hate relationship with Kanye.
Man, so it's like, this man out his mind. He does say some good shit a lot of the time. But, it's for every 5-10 steps he takes, when he says some real shit, he takes 20 steps back, maybe 100. So it's like, I get what Katt's point is, but I'm going to reiterate this point. I'm going to say it all the time. I'll say it again. I've said it in the past. Stop holding these celebrities, comedian, TV hosts, people that are well known in such high esteem. Why the fuck are you holding these people in such high esteem? They put their pants on the same way we do. They bleed. There's some fucking aliens out there. There might be some aliens or something else out there. So I mean, they really you gotta stop holding them in such high esteem. They're human too. They bleed blue, bleed red the same way we do. So whether it's Katt Williams, Shannon Sharp, Joe Budden, Joe Rogan, what's the space guy, Nielsen Young or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
Just stop holding people in such high esteem. They make mistakes. Just whatever. Don't stop taking what they say for face. Take it for face value. Leave it what it is. Do your own damn research. That's it. And this is Katt Williams' view on things, because a lot of people have said their points. He's just responding to it, and it's like everything he's saying might not be true.
Yo, when the last time you heard Ludacris rap?
Wasn't it the Super Bowl shit? Not the Super Bowl, the Atlanta shit.
You know, Katt Williams called Ludacris out and said that he was on some gay shit, and that basically they both was presented an opportunity to be in a franchise that was going to have 10 plus movies, make $200 million, but they had to basically shave off their sideburns and all this other stuff, and they had to basically get fucked in the ass. And he said no, thank you. And he said the other person shaved off their sideburns, and they've been in the Fast and Furious franchise. And then Ludacris came out and made like a 1.5, 2-minute rap saying, "Yeah, nigga, you tripping," and did that whole rap with a smile. Let me tell you, Ludacris, one of the best rappers ever. That rap was smooth. That rap was fire. But I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Hey, Katt was kind of spitting on that because that shit made me quit. Let me tell you, as someone that loves Luda, I always wondered to myself, how did Luda end up in the Fast and Furious franchise? Because it's one thing to be in one movie. Because think about it. Bow Wow was in one movie, but that was pretty much it. He came back for another movie.
It was he was only in one, I think.
No, he came back for like movie 8 or 9. It was like one of the last movies where they had like everyone back.
Because Tokyo Drift was like a side project.
Yeah.
We didn't think it would be as good as it was.
But Ludacris has done like 6 of these motherfucking movies.
So,
and let me tell you, Ludacris was one of the best rappers in his time. But he's done so good with this franchise, Luda ain't got to rap no more.
So let me say something on that point. What else has he done? Let's say he did do whatever they say he did. Katt said he did. What else? This man literally started.
Them straight to Netflix movies. Them straight to Tubi movies. Them straight to Prime TV.
My point exactly. Why is he not bigger than he's supposed to be?
Nigga, he's still getting paid for the movies.
But you ain't had a headliner yet.
In the words of a great man that I know, you ain't get paid.
Apparently not. He ain't get paid enough. But still, one of my favorite rappers, one of the greatest. I believe Luda. I believe him.
Man, talking about this nigga now, if you want to call him a rapper, you can. Or if you just want to call him an entertainer, you can. He talked about how he knew Nick Cannon since he was 13. And he only did Wild 'N Out because he wanted to look out for Nick Cannon to make sure these executives can take advantage of him. And when people complain about not getting paid, he said, look at the situation we was in. Hey, man, once again, Nick Cannon, man, hey, I'm glad Katt said some positive shit about Nick Cannon. It was good to hear that. And, that kind of showed me, Katt Williams' heart. Because the fact that he said, I did the show not to get paid because nobody really got paid. I did it just to look out for this nigga. Because to be real, when Katt did Wild 'N Out, Katt was already Katt Williams. Like some of these comedians, like DC Young Fly, these other niggas that are big now in 85 South Show, they was doing Wild 'N Out before we knew who they really was. When Katt did it, he like, I'm trying to really think, C's, because I know you watch that show a lot back in high school. I think Katt was really the only solidified nigga on Wild 'N Out in terms of a nigga that had movies and stand-up specials.
Besides Nick Cannon himself, the platform really... Nick Cannon gave a lot of comedians a platform. But somebody else that's very underrated, D. Ray Davis, he's just never had a big Hollywood
but that's
role.
What I'm saying. Like Katt was the only established nigga, so when he says, I didn't do the show to get paid because nobody got paid, yeah, I think that's some stand-up shit from him.
So respect. I mean, respect to, he even said he was one of the few people that came out and supported Nick Cannon. I mean, the platform of Wild 'N Out put a lot of people on. I feel like it actually added to Katt's catalog, and there was a lot of moments he was really holding the show. I mean,
hilarious.
So, I mean, from that stance, I mean, yeah, kudos to, you showed love to people. You called a lot of people out, but you did show a lot of love to people, man.
Hey, man, coming to a close, man, I'm just going to ask a quick question, but do you think Katt really read 3,000 books when he was like 4 or 5 years old?
There's 8 books a day, right? 3,000 books a year. That's 8 books a day. Somebody did the math for me. Somebody was reading the comments, and if you ever seen that meme where the dude was on Drewski's, said, "Oh, I can read a book." That's basically what he said. He where it really started getting for me with the interview, where it was iffy, it was the shit about that he went to Miami when he was 13. He read 3,000 books and the whole story. It's like there was a lot of moments where I was like, all right, now he's just talking shit, just to talk shit. Like everybody does it. A lot of people do it. There ain't no damn way, bro. You might be bright and a genius and all that. Ain't no damn way. Ain't no fucking way. In the words of Future, ain't no fucking way.
So, what about him running a sub 40 and
sub 40
a sub 40 in the 40? You showed me the video. Do you think that's actual real video? Because in the video, just for those who don't see the video, Katt Williams said he can run a sub 4 in a 40. In the video, he ran a 4.47. Now, just for that to be understood to the audience, NFL linemen, offensive linemen, don't run that shit. Every once in a while they do, but most don't. And you got DBs, linebackers that run about a 4.5, 4.6. He ran a 4.47, which means this nigga is faster than a lot of people in the NFL. Do you think that is real?
If you've seen the scene of Alligator Man running at the end of that episode of Atlanta, yes. In slippers or in socks, this man was up the road And he was running for real. That was really him running. That shit was real. He probably fast. But I'll give him this. I'll say this though as a side note. Short people, you have a lot less to carry. You know what I mean? When you little and short, your legs, you can do a lot of quick steps. So I mean, that's probably the reason why he's so fast.
So you wanted to mention, C's, that why is everyone, when they be talking shit and they do these podcasts, they got a tour coming, or they got a book they trying to sell, or a movie or a show? And you mentioned that, Katt got a tour coming up. So you think that most of the shit he said was just to promote that tour and create buzz? Because, hey, this episode did more views for Shay Shay Club than any episode he's had. And he's had people like Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, Cedric Entertainer. He's had Deion Sanders. He's had big people, Magic Johnson. He's had huge people on the show. But this particular episode did more views in 24 hours than any episode has for over a year.
So, really a lot of the credit to why the show is so big is because of the subject matter and the content of the episode. If he had just talked about his life and had not called out the people that he well deserved, probably needed to call out, because this is all in response to, somebody we didn't mention, but Faison Love, somebody who a lot of the time has shit to say about everybody.
Faison, for those who don't know, Faison Love, Big Worm, as well as Faison Love said before this pod that Katt's not funny and Katt could have been bigger, and he basically was talking shit about Katt. But continue, C's.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like he probably had to get a lot of shit off his chest, but at the same time, it's like, why do people wait till they got some shit going on? Why don't you do a podcast when you ain't doing shit? You ain't got no movies. You ain't got no tour. You ain't got no hype around you. No hype to build out. Just come out on the show and speak your piece. Take some time off. Make your rounds with your own podcast, or make your rounds and talk your shit on YouTube, whether it's a live, whatever. Stop waiting until you got some shit to promote to actually finally say what you got to say. So it's like the timing is perfect. He's got a 100-city tour coming up, one of the greatest in the game. He's not my top 5, nowhere near that. But he's fucking funny. He's for movie roles to TV roles to stand up. He's one of the funniest out now. So I mean, hey, shout out to Shannon, man, with Shay Shay, expanding your audience. Shout out to Katt, just for being a funny nigga, man.
So last thing about Katt, man. Katt basically talked about how he's paid comedians because promoters didn't pay them. And, he's giving comedians money, because he thought they did funny sets. And when he said that, you had Deion Cole, you had Corey Holgram, you had a lot of niggas who basically told stories of, yeah, man, I performed at the Apollo, I performed here, I was on Wild 'N Out. And basically, Katt basically after the show handed me some money. There was this white dude that said, yeah, man, I knew I was going to headline for Katt, open up for him, and I was excited. But they said he wasn't there, and, I didn't see him nowhere, and I performed, and I thought I did a good set. And next thing someone knocks on my door, and they say, they hand me a whole bunch of money, and I look up and it's Katt, and, he says you was hilarious, and he then says you going to be on my tour, and the next day, I do 150 shows with him for the next year. So a lot of comedians came out and said, hey, man, Katt's a real one. He showed much love. I just want to say this right here. To me, that's what the game should be about. Regardless of whatever, genre you in, whether it's music, whether it's entertainment, whether it's comedy, whatever. You should be showing love, especially to people younger than you, people trying to come up. Like if you can see potential in them or whatever, because one thing he did do that we didn't touch on, he gave props to Country Wayne, Just Hilarious, Ha Davis. He said all the young comedians, Pretty Ricky, all the young comedians, he said, hey, they're great, they're doing their thing. Like to me, if you want to say Katt's just a hater, okay, cool. But to be a hater, he then showed love to so many other people. So you then have to question, well, if he was hating on these people, why? Like, why was he hating on these people? So, like, to me, that was kind of the big thing for me, But do you have any closing things about Katt?
Man, yeah, he's hilarious, man. It's just like the sad part is people love controversy. That's why it's blown up so much. But at the same time, I mean, you got to speak your truth, which might not be the actual. There's his truth, his truth, her truth, your truth, my truth, and then there's the truth. You see things from multiple perspectives, as obviously with Ice Cube's comments and a lot of other people, Cedric the Entertainer. So I mean, some of it might be true, some of it might not be, but yeah.
So you hinted at that Katt Williams is on your top five. So before we go, and if you've been listening to this whole time, we thank you for listening to every second. We know this episode probably has went a little long, but you said Katt's probably not your top five. With that being said, who's your top five comedians, dead or alive? And I know it's hard, but try to give me a five.
All right, so this ain't too much deep of a thought, but the reason why Richard Pryor is not in my top five is because I know the person that wrote for Richard Pryor. If Richard's funny, you will find this person funny. Paul Mooney, one of the greatest comics, not just black comics, period. This man is hilarious, told truth in your face, made it funny, always spoke about race, real life stuff. Just you probably one of the best hosts. There's a reason why they didn't let him host because he told the truth. He would put the truth in your face and make you laugh about it. And then afterwards, you question yourself. You would have to question yourself. Another one that speaks just real stuff. George Carlin. One of my personal favorite white comedian, but just in general. George Carlin, rest in peace. You are one of the fucking greatest. Next, gets a lot of credit, but not enough in my opinion. Red Fox, one of the best hosts just in general. You could put him on any show. He should have hosted the Oscars, should have hosted the Emmys, the Grammys, whatever show. He should have hosted it back in the day. Just rest in peace to Red Fox, man. Like Hollywood really did him dirty. Um, he just deserves so much more than what he got, man. Rest in peace. Next, I'm gonna say, man, it's really a toss up, man. It's a toss up
You
between
got two more.
it's a toss up between Eddie and Martin, man. Martin's just he's just personally one of my favorites. Martin's just like from the shows to the movies to stand up. He's just personally one of my favorites, and this is not like looking at anybody else's list. Martin Lawrence is up there, and then man, last man, bruh, just because he doesn't get enough love. This man died. Like, if you want to just talk about people dying before their time, he was on the cusp of it. A lot of people can do stand up. They can do a set. A lot of people can't host the show. The great Bebe's Kids, the originator of Bebe's Kids. He was in House Party. He was in a lot of movies, had his own HBO special in the 80s. In the early 90s, late 80s, had his own special on HBO. He was also in Robert Townsend's sketch show. Keenan Ivory Wayans and Robert Townsend were in that show back on HBO back in the day. But Robin Harris, man, rest in peace, man. That's what he doesn't get enough love in my eyes. Died before his time. Just rest in peace, man.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna close out my top five, and before I say my top five, I'm gonna explain the reason for my top five. So I look at comedy in multiple facets. One, can you have a TV show or something like a TV show and be funny? Two, have you done movies and was you funny? And three, and I weigh this the highest, was your stand-ups funny? And I'm gonna add this a little bit too. I also like when comedians tell the truth in stand-ups. And what I mean by that is there's something going on in the world at that moment. Can you put that in your stand-up? Can you kind of educate us in your stand-up too? Like a lot of comedians are supposed to be able to tell the truth and be people that are truth tellers. So those are some of the things that I look for in my top five. So first, I think Richard Pryor, hands down, got in my top five. I saw a lot of his stand-ups from Sunset at Strip. Hey man, that was hilarious. I seen the Richard Pryor show back in the day.
That disc though, that one CD where he was talking about the lady that pissed blue.
Yeah,
that shit was woo.
Like I've seen the Richard Pryor show, and he got movies, man, like movies. And when I say movies, Harlem Nights is a great movie, but I'm talking about go back to movies like Car Wash, go back to the movies that he did with Gene Wilder, go back to movies like The Tour, like go to movies where, like basically, from the 80s, 70s, The Mac. People forget he was in the Mac. Like he got roles where he was hilarious and he brought true comedy to these roles. Then I'm going to say Dave Chappelle, man. Dave Chappelle's in there, man. Hey, the Chappelle Show is one of the greatest shows ever. His stand-ups are always amazing. And the only thing Chappelle doesn't really have compared to my other comedians, his movie roles haven't always been the strongest. But when you go back and look at movies like Nutty Professor, where he only had a couple minutes in that movie.
Blue Street.
He was funny in Blue Street. He had a bigger role. It was funny.
And what was that movie about?
Half Baked was a funny movie.
Classic.
Hey, he's a very, very, very funny guy, and he's a big truth teller. Like he'll tell you things that's the truth. Man, Bernie Mac, man, rest in peace. Bernie Mac has always been funny. I think Bernie Mac came out of the womb funny. Like Bernie Mac from when he did the Kings of Comedy, tour. I was a kid and I saw his jokes. He was hilarious, like dying, fucking laughing. Like Bernie Mac got jokes that we still tell to this day. Like, do you want some cookies?
Yeah.
Like he got jokes to this day that we still tell. The Bernie Mac show, man. When I just said Chappelle Show was one of the funniest shows, like for the Bernie Mac show to be clean cut humor, like, and we know Bernie Mac was the king of raw comedy, but for it to be clean cut, where he could have just cussed and just act a fool like that, but still be as hilarious as it was, man. Bernie Mac show was amazing, and then his movie roles, man. Bernie Mac could be the star of the movie. He could play a supporting character. Even if he was in the movie for 5 minutes, man, when you go back and watch Friday, his character in Friday stands out. When you go back to House Party 3, when he said, "Oh, I knew I recognized you from somewhere. They call you Lockjaw." Like he just had the ability to take over a scene, and even though it's a 2-hour movie, he was only moved 5 minutes. You remember his role, and to me that was important. And then the last two, and Eddie Murphy, man. Probably the stand-up that is the greatest stand-up to this day to me is Raw. I saw stand-up as a kid, died fucking laughing. Tears come in my eyes, couldn't breathe. I saw it as a teenager, died fucking laughing again. Then I saw it as an adult, continue to die fucking laughing. Like Eddie Murphy has jokes that to me are ahead of his time. Like he got jokes from the 80s that you can tell in 2023 and they still be fucking hilarious. He was on SNL. He was so good on SNL that they really never really had another black person on SNL again until Kenan Thompson. Like, yeah, you had people like Chris Rock and you had Damian Wayans, they did it for a little bit, but Eddie Murphy was so good, like they was like, damn, we can't even find another nigga to really be on SNL. And SNL was a big comedy show back in the day.
Speaking of Damian Wayans, though, that's another person who I feel like is hilarious in multiple ways. If you go back and his stand-ups aren't the most popular, but he's actually fucking funny on stage. He can act. Just underrated, man. He's in the top. He's one of my favorites also.
And in Eddie Murphy's movies, bro, you go from the Beverly Hill Cops, you go from 48 Hours, you go to Coming to America, Vampire in Brooklyn, Nutty Professor, Norbit,
Life.
Dr. Dolittle, Life. You go to the stuff he's done, Harlem Nights, you go to the stuff he's done recently, Candy Cane Lane, My Name is Dolomite, and Coming to America too. Like, Eddie Murphy's just one of them guys. You could go to him and say, hey, Eddie, I need you to be filthy. And he can make you laugh in the movie. Hey, Eddie, we need a movie for kids. And he can find a way to be funny, but not be filthy. And then lastly, man, hey, one of my favorite comedians, Chris Rock, man. Like, never scared, but bigger and blacker. But stand-ups I saw when I was younger, I died fucking laughing when he said the line, about salad getting tossed, and you can have syrup or jelly. I prefer syrup. Like, to me, that his whole bit was funny. Like, he said witty stuff to me where he said, hey, man, a black A student can't be the manager of McDonald's, and this was during Bush's administration, but a white C student can do coke in college and become the president of the United States. Like, hey man, that was smart, but it was, funny as hell at the time. And then his recent stand-ups, Tambourine, and then the, Selective Outrage, was just showed me masterpieces at work where, hey, I'm now 40 something, I'm now 50 something years old, my kids are grown, I'm divorced, I'm still funny, but I'm gonna give you a different perspective. The Everybody Hates Chris show was fucking hilarious. Loved that show. The narration he did, the way he broke the show down. And then Chris Rock, man, his movies have always been funny to me, man. I love Down to Earth. I love his voiceovers and Osmosis Jones, and even his ability to be in the Madagascar movies, man. So, those are my top five, man. But hey, if you listen to the video on YouTube, man, comment your top five comedians, man, of all time, man, because we love checking out your comments on the page, man. So, in the words of Airbnb Rakim, peace.